A doctor once told me that I would have never played sports ever again in my life. Today, I'm a papi of three girls, four and under. And that moment made me the present father that I am. Let me tell you the entire thing. My parents had me when they were both 15. My father was supposed to go straight to the NBA out of high school. He had me, that changed. 15-year-old, the time wanted to be in my life. That type of pressure of knowing that he didn't get to go to the league because he had me, once that clicked, and I was always very, very mature for my age, so it clicked for me very young. I took that on. Not only did I take that on, but the entire neighborhood, the entire block, the entire community put that on me as well. So since he didn't go to the league, I was the next up that was supposed to make it to the league. Right there, that's a lot of pressure. I'm his shadow, 4-year-old on the court, basketball almost as big as him, hanging with the older kids, not too much older, but always older kids and competing against them. It was in my blood. I was nice. So it was automatically perceived that I was going to be the next up. One, I put that on myself because the only reason that he didn't make it to the league was because he had me. Two, growing up, that's your ticket out. Where I'm from, it's in my bloodline. I'm nice. I'm getting nicer year by year. It's my time to go. Or I'm the next up. As I grew up, I've only got better and got better and got better. This is all I knew. You ask younger me, besides being in the league, what do you want to be? And I would tell you a doctor because I wanted to help as many people as I possibly could. That being taken away at 7. So from the moment that I could walk, I'm with a basketball in my hand and I'm competing for a way out, as that's our only ticket out, up until 7 years old, and then that being taken away from me. There's multiple times, the before and the after, that sports was the only thing that I knew, that I had, that I could go do and that I could make it. Or I had that belief anyway. So at 7, a 25-pound statue fell from a 2-story building onto the top of my head at a street festival. And that's why I say it was taken from me. Because at that moment, I didn't know my entire life would be changed. With a freak accident like that, who does? So, out with my grandmother at a street festival, 7 years old, I'm playing. She's like, sit down while we're getting food. I don't want to sit down. I sat down, but then I got up. Something just told me to get up. Just told me, peace, sit down, or we're going to go home. Mind you, I'm 7 years old. 7-year-old don't want to go no home. I want to go home. I'm having fun at a street festival. So I sit down. Always been obedient, always been mature for my age, always been the one to get the least problems and the one to be the least of a burden. So I sat down. Seconds later, I'm on the ground in a red sea. My own blood. I don't know what happened. I didn't feel it. I just remember being face first, and what was the concrete was no longer the concrete. It was the Red Sea immediately. And as I'm trying to get up, almost like a push up, everybody around me, I see everybody gasping, covering their mouth like they just seen a ghost, like they just seen somebody go, pass, die, because that's what it almost was. But there was few people holding me down, saying, "No, no, 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 stay down, stay down." And then I remember a young woman ran up to me, "No, stay down, baby. Somebody's on the way. I'm a doctor, this and that. On the way. You're gonna be perfectly fine." Boom. From there to the ambulance pulling up, I remember. I remember how they flipped me over to put me on the bed. That I do not recall. But I do recall being pushed into the ambulance. And although they were calm, I seen the looks on their faces. And at the time, I don't know what happened. As we pull off, they're asking me questions. "Hey, buddy, what's your name? What do you like to do? Stay with me, buddy. Stay with me." And each blink, I just remember the light getting dimmer and dimmer and darker and darker. And the last blink, I just remember the guy over me with a mask, EMS with a mask. We're losing him. After that, I don't remember nothing except being in that coma was the first time that I talked to the man above. And that's why ever since that, we've been like this. Obviously, I'm only human. Certain things have what I thought gone wrong in my life, so I deviated away from him. Just a bit. Nothing too crazy. I didn't go too far, but I'm only human. Hey, I've gone away. But in comparison to what I know most, go through from that age of 7, like this. That's the first time, and ever since then, I will tell you, God is real. He told me what was going to happen. He told me that I was going to have a sister. I was the only child at the time. I always wanted a sibling. Told my mom after coma I was going to have a sister. Boom. My little sister popped out. But that is the first time that I talked to God. But everything from the EMS saying we're losing him to speaking to God, I don't recall anything. And within the coma, I just remember it being white as ever. I mean, the most pure white you've ever seen. Then I woke up. Within the coma, the doctor said they expect me to be in a coma for 6 months. I was in a coma for 2 weeks. Woke up 2 weeks later. Obviously had to relearn to do everything. After multiple surgeries, all the staples and stitches in my head, complete skull reconstruction. There's 3 things. We're losing him, talking to God, and then the doctor telling me you'll never be able to play sports ever again. Something like that to a 7-year-old who only knew of sports being his way out. Now, don't get it twisted. My dad, when he was around, he did instill academics being very important. because it would make me more marketable for the league. So I always had brains. But to hear that, for my thought of I'm gonna make it to the league, and that's my only way out, devastated. Fast forward, around 11, 12 years old, doctors finally cleared me to play sports again. Thank God. But now I'm 12, and I'm far behind everybody else because they started playing sports when they was 4 years old, 4 or 5 years old. So all my friends, all my peers, they touched nothing for years. So you think I'm the best as soon as I played my first sport? No, no. I have raw talent. Don't get it twisted. God has blessed me. He has blessed me with the athletic abilities to definitely stand out. Absolutely. But fundamentally speaking, and having that strong foundation of organized sports, baseball to football to basketball to track to boxing, no. First sport back was baseball. I didn't know a thing about baseball. But I know as soon as he cleared me, the first thing that my parents put me in, that my mom put me in was baseball. And man, raw talent, yes, but I could always see that I was lacking. I was always behind because I didn't have what they had from age 4 or 5 to age 12. That's a gap, and it definitely showed. So to say I always had to compete is a very, very, very major understatement. To compete to be the best, major understatement. Raw talent, God given talent, absolutely blessed. Now, when it came to the sport that I focused on day after day, year after year, month after month, for since then, was football. Now, I will tell you, when it came to football, my baseball coach brought me on because he gave me the nickname Crazy Legs because of my speed. And I remember the first day of practice, and we're on a baseball field. First day, it was my coach's baseball field. First day of practice, I just remember these group of brothers from Texas. Man, man, that looked like that hurt. Now, this type of hurt is a totally different than that full body go on full speed at your tape, trying to just take your head off and hitting you with everything. That's what was going on in my brain. See a young dude, my boy, get hit, bam, and coach is like, "All right, you next." I look at coach. That looked like that hurt. You gotta understand. I came from being told that I would never be able to play sports again because of my injury. I had to wear helmets to school for years because of my injury. And now you want me to willingly be on a field, although I was excited. I was. But I'd be lying to you if I didn't tell you that I was spooked. I was scared. I was scared to get hit. All my friends teasing me. Like, why are you scared to get hit? It's football. It's my first year. I don't know what football was before this. But what they didn't understand, even after all of that, even after I went through years of grinding with a major chip on my shoulder just because everybody just thought I was just fast. You never be good enough. But I fell in love with football. Never be good enough. You're just fast. You know how to make people miss. That's not going to get you too far. All up until, say, freshman year in high school. Maybe a little bit even into sophomore year. But freshman year of high school and the summer before that, I took all that noise. All the negativity, all the doubt, all the talking wild, crazy to me. I took all of that. Every day competing, every day trained. First day of practice came around with when hitting was involved. When we finally got our equipment, got our pads and our helmet, it was hit time. That was spree. Yeah, it was time to take over. And from there, it just got better and better and better and better. But I was always that kid that was still scared to get hit. But he's getting better. But he's still getting scared to get hit. But he's getting better. Man, you scared to get hit. He's still getting better. Because I was competing. And I didn't realize at the time that I was competing with myself. But since then, since 7 years old, since the accident, I didn't know I always had a major chip on my shoulder. And not just from competing, just try to make it to the league against everybody else, but also against myself. Couple movements knocked me off that path. But I'm in newspapers. News anchors are starting to talk about me. I'm on a news, mama. Your boy's gonna make it, mama. I worked my butt off to get to where I got to, but nobody knew that I was battling inside myself because I was still scared because of my head injury, and I didn't even realize until I got a lot older. But I competed my butt off to the point that I got to the collegiate level. Not just in football, but also in track and field. Where the injury that took the league away from me first. So my meniscus and my MCL in track. It wasn't even football. Man, the pile up of depression, the pile up of anger, the pile up of so much pressure when everybody's saying you got somewhere else better to be, P. The pressure of the block being like, you're gonna make it. The pressure of my 7-year-old self telling me I have to make it. The pile up of thinking, why isn't coach playing me? Why am I now kicked off a team? Why I'm shooting myself in the foot so many times because of all of this stress, all of this pressure, all of this anger, all of the depression. And I lacked the immaturity, but that I thought I had the maturity. But I had the maturity where it really mattered, yes. But I didn't have the maturity to guide myself because all the stuff that I did it by myself. So for me to deal with everything that's being thrown at me and understand what being a young adult is and growing into a young man without any guidance, from a role model, from a dad, from anybody that was supposed to lead me, that Paula also took the lead. So it wasn't one thing that just took the lead from me. I stood in the way of myself multiple times. My boys don't know it. Nobody knows it. Also with the little kid that was still scared of what if you get hit one time and it's over. With all of this and me standing in my way, getting my degrees and having the time run out, having the road run out on me, and then having to deal with adult life made me, forced me to feel like I had to hang it up. And so I did. The dream ended. The drive never did, though. I don't know anything else but compete. So I didn't even realize that I'm competing in every business endeavor that I do. Anything that I touch, I'm competing. Oh, it's just a game. I'm competing. I don't care if it's a Game Boy, a Nintendo, a PlayStation, an Xbox, a PC. We outside. I'm playing with my kid. It doesn't matter to me. I'm playing the game with my lady, with the community. It doesn't matter. I don't know anything but compete. Competing is my survival mechanism. But follow me. This is where it gets twisted. Because I lost myself as soon as the sport that I love was taken away from me, that I lost my identity. And I didn't even realize that I lost my identity. I just knew that life kept going and I had to get in motion with the adult life. So I didn't realize that I was competing in everything, even work. Wanting to be the best coach. God put that in my lap. God placed that in my hands when I was in college. Remember, I wanted to be a doctor until my dad said, you know how much schooling there is, and told me how much schooling I had to do to become a doctor. And I said, no, maybe not. So the next best thing, the healthiest thing, the most holistic and natural thing that I could do for God, for his people, still doing what a doctor is supposed to do, is helping as many lives elevate as possible. I'm still competing in that to this day as a specialist, as your coach. But the turning point in all of this, remember I told you that I'm a papi of three. 3 girls, 4 and under, my babies. Why I do what I do now when I focus on dads that have the same feeling, that know what it's like to be a athlete and aim that fire at one goal. And that's the only goal, is to get to that dream, get to the next level, and be the best. My turning point was I aimed my fire at providing. I was still competing. I'm still competing. I don't want to say I was still competing. But I aimed my fire at providing and I didn't even know it. And it got in the way of me and my babies. I would love to think that I'm a great dad. I'm a phenomenal dad, like I always said I would, and I always said I would be a present one, because my dad wasn't. For a lot of it. In and out, but a lot of it. The most imperative years gone. Right? And I don't want to do that. And I never wanted to do that for my babies. But then looking up from work, coming home from work, from the office, building the business up, building my brand up, from clients, from athletes, come home, watch my girls talking more, saying big old words, different verbiage. They're moving in fast forward. I watched my girls go from a baby to 4 years old. From when did you get that big? When did you get that tall? And how do you know what that means? And how do you know how to say that and say it properly and use it in a proper context? Day after day after day after day after day. And me feel like, whoa, I thought I was being present, but I'm not. That's what changed. That's why I now focus on how I operate and why I believe 4 a.m. club is the only club to be in, especially as a dad, an ex-athlete dad that knows what the competition is like. Even for the ones that don't know, but know that they want to be present or know that they need to be present. That's what changed me back to competing like an athlete that's striving for that next level. But I'm competing against myself to be the best athlete for them. Because they're the best fans. And all of my ex-athlete dads out there, we thought the fans loved us. But when we could go no more, or when we chose not to, that love is gone, but theirs doesn't go away. So why are you not competing still to be the best athlete for them every day? I now compete like an athlete once again because I'm competing against myself every AM for them. 4 a.m. That way I don't miss out on a 4 p.m. and above. And my time management. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it. But my time blocking, so I don't also have to miss a 4 p.m. and above, 5 p.m. and above. And that is exactly what the present standard is. Competing is how I came back from the dead. And now I aim it at the thing that matters most, which is being the protective, providing, present Papi I am. So if you're an ex-athlete dad who just felt and who feels everything that I just described, this channel is for you. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the present standard. Let's compete. Build that integrity. Stand on that integrity. And elevate. Every day, baby. Like we're athletes once again. Because we are. Till next time. Coach Free.